My precious child, God says your miracle is being released tonight. Archangel Michael is weeping for you, and all of heaven is shouting your name. Please, open this now. This is not a coincidence. This is not a random video you clicked out of boredom. This moment was written before you were born. While you were worrying, while you were crying in silence, while you were asking God, do you even see me? Heaven was preparing an answer. Tonight is not ordinary. Something has shifted in the spirit realm. Something has moved that cannot be reversed. And you feel it, don't you? That strained heaviness in your chest. That pressure. That anticipation. You thought it was anxiety. But it is not. It is the sound of chains breaking. Listen carefully. God says your miracle is being released tonight. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Not one day. Tonight. And here is what you must understand. When heaven releases something, no human can stop it. Right now, Archangel Michael is not silent. He is not distant. He is standing in the presence of the Most High, and he is weeping for you. Yes, for you. Because he has seen your battles. He has witnessed the nights when you could not sleep. He has watched you fight invisible wars that nobody else knew about. You smiled in public. You broke down in private. You kept going when you wanted to give up. And heaven noticed. Do you know why all of heaven is shouting your name right now? It is because you did not quit. You were tested. You were misunderstood. You were delayed. But you were not denied. And the delay was not punishment. It was preparation. There was a moment when you thought God forgot you. You even wondered if your prayers were hitting the ceiling and falling back down. But God says every tear you cried, I collected. Every whisper you spoke in the dark, I recorded. Nothing was wasted. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard your destiny. And tonight, he is releasing what was held back by spiritual resistance. There were forces trying to block your blessing. There were unseen obstacles placed in your path, but they have lost their authority. Because the decree has been spoken. You need to hear this clearly. Your miracle is not small. It is not symbolic. It is not temporary relief. It is a turning point. A financial shift. A relational restoration. A door opening. A sudden breakthrough. Something that will make you say, only God could have done this. But here is the part that will surprise you. The reason Archangel Michael is weeping is not sadness. It is compassion. It is holy emotion. It is the intensity of heaven responding to your pain. He saw how close you came to quitting. He saw how the enemy whispered lies into your mind, telling you that you were forgotten. But you are not forgotten. You are remembered. And tonight, as all of heaven shouts your name, something is being signed in the spiritual realm. A release order. A divine authorization. A supernatural acceleration. You may not see it yet in the physical, but the spiritual always moves first. That uneasy feeling you've had lately. That sudden wave of hope mixed with fear. That urge to pray even when you felt tired. That is because your miracle is approaching. And when miracles approach, the atmosphere changes. You might feel resistance today. You might notice strange opposition. That is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that something valuable is about to arrive. The enemy only fights what threatens him. And your breakthrough threatens him. Hear this clearly. Tonight, while you sleep, conversations are happening in heaven about you. Strategies are being aligned. Protection is being reinforced. Archangel Michael is standing like a warrior over your household. This is about your family, This is about your calling. This is about your future. God says, I'm restoring what was stolen. You thought it was gone forever. You thought that opportunity had passed. You thought that relationship was permanently broken. You thought your health would never improve. But heaven is reversing verdicts. The miracle being released tonight is connected to something you almost gave up on. A dream you quietly buried is being uncovered. That prayer you stopped repeating, it is being answered. And here is the warning: when it begins to manifest, do not doubt it. Do not sabotage it with fear. Do not question if you deserve it. This is grace. Archangel Michael is weeping because he knows how close you were to missing this moment. If you had hardened your heart, if you had walked away completely, if you had chosen bitterness, what you didn't, you are still here. And that is why heaven is shouting your name. Not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. Tonight is the dividing line between what was and what will be, between struggle and manifestation, between delay and delivery. Something is about to knock at your door, not physically, but spiritually. A call, a message, an opportunity, an inner peace that replaces chaos. And when it happens, remember this moment. Remember that God warned you in advance. Remember that Archangel Michael stood in the gap. Remember that heaven celebrated before you even saw the result. Do not treat this as entertainment. Do not scroll away in disbelief. Pause. Take a breath. Whisper, I receive. Because tonight, your miracle is being released. And this is only the beginning. Beloved soul, what is happening tonight did not begin tonight. This release has been building for weeks, maybe months, maybe years. Every delay you experienced was not a denial. It was pressure building behind a spiritual dam. And when God decides to open the gates, the flood cannot be stopped. Right now, the dam is cracking. You have felt pressure lately that made no sense. Small things irritated you. Unexpected challenges appeared. People who once supported you became distant. It felt like the ground beneath your feet was shifting. You thought you were losing stability. But in truth, heaven was rearranging your foundation. Archangel Michael has been stationed at the edge of your breakthrough, holding back interference. There were spiritual accusations spoken against your destiny. There were voices in the unseen realm trying to convince heaven that you were not ready. But tonight, the verdict has changed. God says, it is time. This miracle is not random. It is specific. It is tailored to the very prayer you cried in silence. The one you did not post about. The one you did not even tell your closest friend. That private request, the one whispered with trembling lips, is the one being answered. And here is something you must understand clearly. When a miracle is released, it does not always arrive wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it comes disguised as disruption, a job change, a relocation, a sudden ending that makes space for something better. Do not panic if things begin to shift quickly. Acceleration can feel uncomfortable. Archangel Michael is weeping because he knows how intense this transition may feel for you. He sees your sensitivity. He knows your heart. He knows you are not someone who handles sudden change lightly. But he also knows that what is coming is far greater than what you are leaving behind. Heaven is shouting your name not just in celebration, but in announcement. There is a proclamation happening in the spirit realm. Your season has changed. You were in survival mode. You were in learning mode. You were in hidden mode. Now you are stepping into manifestation mode. Something you prayed for is about to move from invisible to visible. And when it does, you may feel unprepared. You may question whether it is truly yours. That is why this message is reaching you now, so that when the door opens, you walk through it boldly. Do not shrink back. Do not say, "This must be for someone else." It is for you. The tears you cried activated something. The fasting you did in secret activated something. Even the nights when you simply whispered, "God, help me," activated something. Archangel Michael carried those cries before the throne. There were moments when you felt spiritually numb. You wondered why you could not feel God's presence like before. But that silence was not abandonment. It was construction. Behind the scenes, heaven was building something so precise that it required focus. And tonight, the construction phase is ending. Expect signs. Expect confirmations. Expect a sudden clarity about decisions you have been confused about. The fog is lifting. The heaviness is breaking. The tightness in your chest is loosening because what was restricted is now being released. You are not crazy for believing something big is coming. That intuition is spiritual awareness. Archangel Michael has been stirring your spirit so you would be ready. Now listen carefully. When this miracle manifests, do not isolate yourself. Share the testimony. Speak about what God has done. There is power in declaring it openly. Your story will unlock faith in someone else who is on the edge of giving up. And while you are receiving this word, take a moment right now to engage with it. Like this message so more souls can encounter this confirmation. Share it with someone who hath been praying in silence. Comment your agreement if this resonates with your spirit. Subscribe and become part of this growing family, because what is happening here is not ordinary content. It is alignment. It is divine timing. And you will want to witness what unfolds next. Something even deeper is about to be revealed, and you will not want to miss the connection that is forming right now. Archangel Michael is not weeping in weakness. He is moved by the weight of your transformation. You have survived what was meant to break you. You have endured what should have cracked your faith. And because you endured, the reward is being released. Tonight marks the end of a quiet battle you never told anyone about. The anxiety that followed you. The fear that whispered worst-case scenarios. The doubt that questioned your worth. It ends now. All of heaven shouting your name means you are no longer hidden. You are being recognized in the spiritual realm. And recognition always precedes elevation. Lift your head. Your miracle is not approaching slowly anymore. It is arriving. And what you see in the next hours and days will confirm that this was not just a message. It was a warning of glory breaking through. Chosen one, lean in carefully because what you are about to hear carries weight in the spirit. Tonight is not only about a miracle being released. It is about vindication. There were silent accusations spoken over your life. Words that tried to define you by your past mistakes. Thoughts planted to make you feel disqualified. But heaven has reviewed your case, and the final decision has been made in your favor. Archangel Michael has stood as a defender over your name. When unseen forces attempted to delay your promise, he did not retreat. When doubt tried to cloud your vision, he did not step aside. He has watched your perseverance, and that is why he is moved with holy emotion. Not because you are weak, but because you are stronger than you realize. You were underestimated. People thought you would break under pressure. Some even expected you to fail quietly so they would not have to acknowledge your growth. But God allowed the pressure to build so that your breakthrough would be undeniable. And now, the shift is here. A miracle being released tonight carries restoration. It is not just about receiving something new. It is about recovering what was lost. Time that felt wasted. Opportunities that slipped away. Confidence that was shaken. God says, I am restoring years. You may not understand how that is possible. How can lost time be restored? How can broken trust be repaired? How can doors that closed suddenly reopen? But when heaven intervenes, natural limitations no longer apply. Archangel Michael is weeping because he sees the contrast between where you were and where you are about to stand. He sees the gap between your tears and your testimony. He sees how close you came to settling for less. But you did not settle. You kept believing, even when belief felt fragile. All of heaven shouting your name is not symbolic language. It represents agreement. Agreement that your season of obscurity has ended. Agreement that your prayers have matured. Agreement that you are ready to carry what you once only wait for. Something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Even if your surroundings look the same right now, the atmosphere has changed. You may feel sudden peace in an area that used to cause stress. You may feel courage where fear once lived. That is not imagination. That is confirmation. This miracle carries divine timing. If it had arrived earlier, you might have mishandled it. If it had come during your lowest emotional state, you might have doubted it. But now, you have grown. And now you have clarity. And now you have spiritual awareness. And because of that growth, the release is safe. Listen closely. When it manifests, do not downplay it. Do not minimize it by calling it coincidence. Give God the credit boldly. Speak it. Declare it. Let the world know that heaven moved on your behalf. Your testimony will become a weapon against someone else's despair. Archangel Michael did not fight quietly for nothing. There were nights when spiritual warfare intensified around your household. Moments when confusion tried to enter your mind without reason. Those were not random emotional swings. They were signs that something valuable was near. The closer your miracle came, the louder the resistance tried to be. But resistance has lost. The decree stands. You are stepping into a chapter that will surprise even you. Conversations that once felt impossible will now flow naturally. Resources that seemed unreachable will find their way to you. Doors you stopped knocking on will open without force. And here is the instruction for you tonight. Remain humble, remain grateful, and remain aware. Gratitude keeps the flow open. Pride restricts it. Doubt delays it. Heaven is celebrating because your obedience in small moments qualified you for larger ones. You chose integrity when compromise looked easier. You chose patience when frustration tried to control you. You chose prayer when silence felt heavy. Those choices were not unseen. Archangel Michael's tears are holy confirmation that your suffering had purpose. It refined you. It strengthened you. It aligned you. Now the alignment is complete. If this message resonates deeply within you, if you feel the stirring in your spirit that this is your moment, then respond prophetically. Type I receive the release in the comments if this is speaking directly to your heart. Blessing code 4449 has just been activated over your life. As you step into this release, understand that spreading messages like this allows light to reach those who are still in darkness. When you give through Super Thanks, join the membership, or so through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping heaven amplify its voice. God says, when you sow into my work, I cause rivers to flow back into your house. This is your moment of obedience. I feel led to stand with this mission and fuel the fire that is reaching souls. Your seed becomes oil in the lamp of someone who is about to give up. Do not hesitate when the Spirit nudges you. As you give, may open heavens respond to your faith and multiply what you release. Step into this prophetic act now and become part of what God is expanding. Faithful one, something irreversible has just been set into motion. You may wake up tomorrow and everything might look the same on the outside. The same walls, the same phone, the same responsibilities waiting for you. But do not be deceived by appearances. The shift that began tonight is spiritual before it becomes visible. And spiritual shifts are the most powerful kind because once they are activated, nothing in the physical realm can permanently resist them. The release you are stepping into is not fragile. It is not temporary relief. It is not emotional excitement that fades in a few days. It is structural change. It is the rearranging of patterns that kept you stuck. It is the dismantling of cycles that repeated for years. Archangel Michael has not only defended you, he has helped clear pathways you did not even know were blocked. There were conversations happening about you in rooms you have never entered. Decisions forming that could have gone against you. But divine intervention stepped in quietly and redirected outcomes. You thought it was luck. You thought it was coincidence. But it was protection. Heaven had been working behind curtains you could not see. The miracle being released tonight is connected to alignment. Some people will move closer to you. Others will drift away. Do not chase what leaves. Do not cling to what is exiting your life. When God upgrades your environment, not everyone qualifies to remain in it. This is not cruelty. It is clarity. You are entering a season where discernment will sharpen. You will sense intentions faster. You will recognize red flags sooner. You will feel peace or discomfort quickly around certain decisions. That sensitivity is a gift, not anxiety. It is part of your miracle. Because the miracle is not just something you receive. It is who you are becoming. Archangel Michael understands the weight of transformation. He knows that growth can feel lonely. As you evolve, conversations that once excited you may feel empty. Environments that once felt comfortable may feel restrictive. This is not you losing connection. It is you outgrowing limitation. And heaven is applauding that growth. There were seasons when you doubted your own worth, when you compared your journey to others and felt behind. But tonight marks the end of comparison. Your path was intentionally different. The delays were intentional. The isolation was intentional. You were being prepared for something that requires depth. Surface-level strength would not have been enough. You needed resilience. You needed endurance. You needed the kind of faith that survives silence. And you have it now. This next phase will require courage. Not because danger is ahead, but because opportunity is ahead. And opportunity often feels intimidating when you have prayed for it for so long. You might question, am I really ready? But readiness is not perfection. Readiness is willingness. And you are willing. The miracle being released carries momentum. You will notice doors opening faster than before. Responses coming quicker than expected. Ideas forming clearly in your mind. Do not hesitate when action is required. Move when you sense the push. Speak when you sense the opening. Apply when you sense the opportunity. Heaven is backing your steps. Archangel Michael's presence around your life signifies authority. You are not stepping into this new season alone. Protection surrounds you. Guidance surrounds you. Reinforcement surrounds you. If something tries to intimidate you in the coming days, remember this moment. Remember that heaven already declared victory before the challenge appeared. Opposition may attempt to test your confidence one last time, but it will not prevail. You are not who you were 6 months ago. You are not who you were last year. The strength you carry now was forged in pressure, and pressure no longer scares you the way it used to. There is also healing unfolding within you. Emotional wounds that you learned to function with are now being addressed. You may find yourself forgiving people you once resented. You may release bitterness without effort. That is part of the miracle too. Freedom is not only external, it is internal. And internal freedom multiplies external favor. All of heaven shouting your name means you are recognized as someone who endured refinement. Gold does not fear fire because fire reveals its purity. You have been through fire, and instead of destroying you, it revealed you. Now clarity replaces confusion. Confidence replaces insecurity. Expectation replaces dread. Do not rush this season. Walk through it attentively. Notice the small confirmations. Celebrate the subtle progress. Every sign is evidence that the release is active. The tears you once cried are being transformed into strength you now carry. The nights of silence are turning into mornings of direction. The heaviness is lifting, layer by layer. This is not hype. This is transition. And transition always feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. Trust what is unfolding. Even if you cannot see the full picture yet, trust the one who authored it. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that you are defended. Heaven's celebration is a reminder that you are valued. Your miracle has begun moving, and nothing can push it back. Brave heart, there is a reason your spirit feels restless right now. Restlessness is not always anxiety. Sometimes it is anticipation. Sometimes it is the soul sensing movement before the mind understands it. And what you are feeling in this moment is the nearness of fulfillment. A miracle that was declared is not floating in the distance anymore. It is approaching your reality. You may notice subtle shifts in your thoughts. Ideas that once felt unrealistic now feel possible. Dreams you buried are resurfacing. That is not imagination. That is activation. When heaven releases something, it first awakens the part of you that can carry it. Archangel Michael has not only guarded your breakthrough, he has helped strengthen your capacity. There were seasons when you prayed for expansion, but you did not yet have the emotional strength to sustain it. Now you do. You have learned patience. You have learned restraint. You have learned how to trust without constant reassurance. Those lessons were expensive, but they were necessary. The miracle being released tonight carries responsibility. Not pressure, but purpose. It will place you in rooms where your voice matters. It will bring you into conversations where your presence shifts the atmosphere. You will sense that you are no longer invisible, and that visibility may feel overwhelming at first. For so long, you operated in hidden mode. You did good quietly. You endured silently. You hoped privately. Now the season is changing. What was cultivated in secret will be displayed with honor. Do not shrink when attention comes. Do not apologize for growth. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable. All of heaven shouting your name means that your identity is being affirmed. You are not an accident. You are not behind schedule. You are not overlooked. The timing of your elevation is precise. There were moments when you questioned why certain doors closed so abruptly. Relationships that ended without clear explanation. Opportunities that seemed promising, but vanished. You thought you were losing progress. In truth, you were being redirected. Not every open door is from God. Not every delay is from the enemy. Discernment has been forming within you. Archangel Michael's presence around your life signifies divine order. Chaos tried to interrupt your path, but order has been restored. What seemed scattered is being aligned. Pieces that did not make sense are beginning to connect. This miracle is not only about receiving something external. It is about becoming internally unshakable. You are stepping into a stability that does not depend on circumstances. Even if challenges arise, they will not carry the same weight they once did. Fear used to dominate your imagination. Now faith is taking that space. You will notice that your reactions are different. Situations that once triggered panic now produce calm analysis. Words that once wounded you now bounce off with less impact. That is growth. That is healing. That is evidence that the process worked. The release happening tonight is connected to confidence. Not arrogance, but clarity. You are beginning to see yourself the way heaven sees you. Capable. Resilient. Chosen. Archangel Michael weeping was a sign of compassion, but it was also a sign of honor. Heaven does not weep for weakness. It responds to perseverance. You stood when you could have collapsed. You prayed when you could have cursed your circumstances. You trusted when doubt was loud. That endurance has activated favor. Expect conversations to shift in your favor. Expect sudden solutions to long-standing problems. Expect doors that once resisted to open without strain. But also expect inner strengthening. A miracle includes maturity. There will be moments where you are tempted to question whether this is truly happening. When things begin to improve, the mind sometimes searches for hidden threats. Let that pattern go. Not every good thing is a setup for disappointment. Sometimes, it is simply answered prayer. Heaven's announcement over your life is not temporary excitement. It is a decree. And decrees carry authority. When God speaks, creation responds. When heaven agrees, resistance collapses. You may feel a desire to prepare in practical ways. Organizing your space, abating your plans, reaching out to someone you felt prompted to contact. Follow those nudges. Preparation is a sign of expectation, and expectation attracts manifestation. The miracle being released is not random luck. It is alignment between promise and timing. You are meeting the moment you were prepared for. In the coming days, pay attention to unusual favor. Pay attention to opportunities that feel almost too perfect. Pay attention to peace that remains even when uncertainty tries to knock. Archangel Michael stands as assurance that you are protected in this transition. You will not be overwhelmed. You will not be abandoned. You will not be embarrassed. Instead, you will be elevated. The restlessness you feel is not instability. It is movement. The ground beneath you is not cracking in destruction. It is shifting in construction. A new foundation is being laid beneath your steps. And soon, you will look back at this night and realize that everything truly began to change here. The release has started, and you are ready to carry it. Steadfast spirit. The atmosphere around you is no longer heavy the way it used to be. You may still face responsibilities. You may still see unfinished tasks. But something within you has shifted. The weight that once pressed against your chest is lighter. The fear that once whispered worst-case scenarios is quieter. This is not accidental. This is evidence that the release declared over your life is actively unfolding. A miracle is not a single event. It is a sequence, a chain reaction set into motion by divine timing. Tonight was the ignition, but what follows will unfold step by step. And you must understand this clearly. Patience in this phase is as important as faith in the last one. Archangel Michael is not only a warrior in moments of crisis. He is also a guardian in moments of growth. As your life expands, so will your responsibilities. As your influence increases, so will the expectations around you. But you will not be overwhelmed. You are being equipped in real time. There were years when you asked for more, but deep down, you feared the cost. Now, you are no longer afraid of the cost. You understand that growth requires stretching. And stretching, though uncomfortable, produces strength. A miracle unfolding in your life carries both blessing and transformation. It will require you to think differently, to speak differently, to respond differently. Old habits cannot survive in new seasons. You may find yourself distancing from patterns that once felt normal. Conversations rooted in negativity will feel draining. Environments built on drama will feel suffocating. That is not you becoming prideful. That is you becoming aligned. All of heaven shouting your name was not just a celebration. It was a declaration of readiness. You have crossed an invisible line. You are no longer the person who doubted every decision. You are no longer the person who shrank at every opportunity. Confidence is growing within you, and confidence attracts favor. Archangel Michael understands the battles you fought privately, the mental struggles, the nights of overthinking, the fear of failure. But those battles did not defeat you. They refined you. And now, when opportunities appear, you will approach them with steadiness instead of panic. The miracle being released will challenge you to trust yourself more, not in arrogance but in partnership with heaven. You will sense clear direction. Ideas will feel inspired rather than forced. Timing will align in ways that feel intentional. Do not sabotage this season by returning to doubt. When something good happens, accept it with gratitude instead of suspicion. When progress is visible, celebrate it instead of questioning how long it will last. This is not a temporary high. This is a permanent shift. As you receive this word, take a moment to actively engage with it. Like this message so it reaches someone who is on the edge of giving up. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their miracle is near. Write your agreement in the comments and declare that you are stepping into this new season. Subscribe and stay connected, because what is unfolding does not end here. There are deeper layers still being revealed, and you will want to witness what heaven continues to expose. Something powerful is about to make even more sense as this unfolds further. Archangel Michael stands as assurance that protection surrounds your household. If there were hidden threats forming, they have been neutralized. If there were misunderstandings brewing, they will dissolve. Peace is taking authority where chaos once tried to rule. You may also notice increased clarity in your relationships. You will see who celebrates your growth and who resents it. Do not react with anger. Simply observe. Not everyone assigned to your past is qualified for your future. The miracle includes alignment of people, and alignment sometimes requires separation. Do not grieve what leaves if it cannot grow with you. Trust that what remains and what arrives will reflect your new level. There will also be financial wisdom increasing in you. Decisions you once rushed will now be handled thoughtfully. Opportunities to increase stability may appear unexpectedly. Handle them with prayer and discernment, but do not hesitate out of fear. Heaven would not release what you cannot sustain. The tears Archangel Michael shed were not only for your pain. They were for the joy that is coming. Joy that will feel almost surreal because of how long you waited. Joy that will silence every voice that once doubted your breakthrough. The release tonight marked the end of stagnation. Momentum is building. You will sense doors responding faster. You will sense answers coming quicker. You will sense that the resistance that once felt immovable has weakened. Trust the momentum. Even if you cannot see the full picture yet, trust the direction you are being led. You are not chasing your miracle anymore. Your miracle is moving toward you. And with every step you take in obedience, the distance between promise and manifestation grows shorter. Stay steady. Stay aware. Because what is about to unfold next will confirm everything heaven declared over you. Warrior of faith, there is a deeper layer to this release that you are only beginning to understand. The miracle unfolding in your life is not isolated to one area. It is comprehensive. It is touching your mind, your relationships, your resources, and even your sense of identity. What heaven began tonight is a restructuring of your entire direction. You may have already sensed a quiet confidence rising within you. Not loud, not boastful, yet steady. That steadiness is evidence that fear is losing its grip. The version of you that once hesitated is fading. In its place stands someone more grounded, more aware, more discerning. Archangel Michael did not weep in vain. His holy emotion marked a transition point. You were being watched during your lowest moments, not to judge you, but to measure your endurance. And your endurance qualified you for elevation. There were times you felt invisible, times you wondered if your efforts even mattered. You did the right thing when no one applauded. You chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. Those decisions were seeds. And now, they are beginning to sprout. The miracle being released is connected to visibility. Not just being seen by people, but being recognized by the right people. You may encounter individuals who suddenly acknowledge your value. Opportunities may arise where your skills are appreciated rather than overlooked. Do not be surprised if conversations shift quickly in your favor. Heaven has a way of repositioning you without announcement. One day you feel ordinary. The next, doors are opening in ways that feel almost unreal. That is what divine timing looks like. But here is something you must guard carefully. As recognition increases, so will distraction. Not every opportunity is assignment. Not every open door is aligned with your purpose. Discernment must remain active. Archangel Michael stands as a symbol of protection and wisdom. Protection is not only about shielding you from harm. It is also about guiding you away from what looks attractive but carries hidden cost. Pay attention to your inner peace. If something feels rushed or forced, step back. A miracle unfolding is sustainable. It does not require panic or desperation. What is truly for you will not need manipulation. You are also entering a phase where old fears may attempt a final whisper. Thoughts like, what if this doesn't last? Or what if I am not capable? Understand this clearly. Those thoughts are echoes of your past, not predictions of your future. You have grown beyond them. The strength you carry now was earned through struggle. The clarity you possess now was refined through confusion. The resilience within you was forged in uncertainty. You are not fragile anymore. All of heaven shouting your name signified approval. Approval that you passed through refinement without losing your heart. Approval that you remained compassionate even when you were wounded. Approval that you did not allow bitterness to define you. That approval is powerful. The miracle being released will also impact your spiritual sensitivity. You will sense direction more clearly. You will feel prompted to act at specific moments. You will recognize when to speak and when to remain silent. This is maturation. There was a time when you reacted quickly out of emotion. Now you pause. You reflect. You respond intentionally. That shift alone proves how far you have come. Archangel Michael's presence around your journey is a reminder that you are not navigating this season alone. There is reinforcement around your decisions. There is covering over your household. There is strategy unfolding beyond your sight. You may notice that some unresolved issues from your past suddenly resurface. Do not interpret this as regression. It is resolution. When a new chapter begins, old loose ends often demand closure. Handle them calmly. Do not let them pull you backward emotionally. Closure clears space for expansion. The miracle unfolding in your life is building stability. You will not feel like you are constantly fighting for survival anymore. Instead, you will begin building for longevity. Plans that once felt uncertain will gain structure. Ideas that once felt risky will gain clarity. And here is something vital to remember. As you rise, remain teachable. Growth does not eliminate the need for humility. It deepens it. The more you learn, the more you will realize how much there is to understand. Heaven entrusted this release to you because you are capable of carrying it with wisdom. Archangel Michael weeping with the signal that your suffering had purpose. Heaven shouting your name with the signal that your waiting has ended. Now the signal you must send is obedience. Move when prompted. Speak when led. Rest when instructed. You are no longer chasing breakthrough. You are stewarding it. The coming days will confirm what your spirit already senses. Doors will respond. Favor will surface. Peace will stabilize you in ways that feel unfamiliar but welcome. This is not imagination. This is manifestation. And you are standing at the center of it, fully prepared for what comes next. Anointed soul, the atmosphere around your life has officially shifted from survival to significance. You did not endure everything you endured just to return to normal. A normal is no longer your portion. The miracle being released is not simply about comfort. It is about calling. It is about stepping into a version of yourself that carries weight, influence, and responsibility. There was a time when you prayed only for relief. You asked God to remove the pressure, to calm the storm, to silence the noise. But now, you are strong enough to stand in the middle of movement without collapsing. That is growth. That is preparation. Archangel Michael's weeping marked the final moment of your hidden battle. Heaven saw how fiercely you fought to keep your faith intact. You were tempted to numb yourself, tempted to withdraw completely, tempted to accept less than what was promised. But you did not. You held on. And because you held on, this release carries honor. Honor did not always look like applause. Sometimes it looks like access. Access to rooms you never imagined entering. Access to resources that once felt unreachable. Access to wisdom that positions you ahead of your previous limitations. Do not underestimate the access that is coming. All of heaven shouting your name was not just emotional imagery. It was authorization. You are being authorized to move forward without guilt. Authorized to succeed without apology. Authorized to receive without questioning whether you deserve it. The miracle unfolding in your life will begin to affect others. People around you will feel the shift. Some will be inspired by it. Others may feel unsettled by it. Do not let their reactions dictate your movement. Stay aligned with what you know is true. There may be moments when you feel the urge to slow down out of fear of standing out. Resist that urge. You did not come this far to shrink back now. Archangel Michael stands not only as a warrior, but as a witness. He witnessed the nights when your faith fell thin. He witnessed the mornings when you forced yourself to rise despite exhaustion. He witnessed the silent promises you made to God that no one else heard. Those promises have been remembered. The release tonight carries acceleration. Things that once moved slowly will begin to progress faster. Conversations that dragged will reach resolution. Efforts that felt unnoticed will suddenly be acknowledged. But acceleration requires focus. Distractions will attempt to appear disguised as opportunities. Old habits may attempt to resurface, especially when pressure increases. Guard your discipline. Protect your peace. Stay anchored in gratitude. The miracle is not fragile, but your stewardship matters. You are also stepping into a deeper awareness of your value. For years, you may have accepted treatment that was beneath your worth. You tolerated inconsistency. You used disrespect. You minimized your own needs to keep others comfortable. That season has ended. You will no longer settle for environments that diminish you. The shift in your standards is part of the miracle. Heaven shouting your name signified recognition. Recognition that you have matured beyond the spaces that once confined you. Recognition that your heart has been refined, not hardened. This is your time to build with intention. You may feel guided to restructure your goals, to revisit dreams you once dismissed as unrealistic, to invest energy into projects that align with your deeper purpose. Follow that guidance. The timing is not random. Archangel Michael's presence around your journey assures you that protection surrounds your steps. You are not moving blindly. You are moving strategically. Even relationships will begin to align differently. You will attract people who reflect your growth. Conversations will carry depth instead of superficiality. Collaboration will replace competition. And here is what you must remember in this powerful moment. Type "I step into my calling" in the comments if this confirmation resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 8181 has now been released over your next season. As this new level unfolds, understand that you are part of something bigger than yourself. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are helping light reach someone who is still waiting in darkness. God says, "As you pour water on my work, I will pour rain on your field." I feel led to fuel this fire so more hearts can hear what heaven is speaking. Your giving becomes seed in fertile soil, producing harvest beyond what you can see. Do not delay when your spirit nudges you to act. As you release, may doors open over your life with supernatural speed. Step into this prophetic moment and become a builder of the light now. Faithful listener, you are no longer standing at the edge of change. You are walking inside it. The shift that began as a whisper is now becoming visible in your thoughts, your conversations, and your reactions. You are not responding the way you used to. You are not fearing the way you used to. Even your silence carries a different strength now. This is what happens when a miracle is not just promised but activated. There was a version of you that constantly questioned, "When will it happen?" That version of you lived in anticipation mixed with anxiety. But now something has settled within your spirit. You no longer chase reassurance every hour. You sense that movement is already happening. Archangel Michael's weeping was the final signal that heaven had fully aligned around your breakthrough. And when heaven aligns, acceleration follows. You may begin to notice divine timing in small details. Messages arriving at the perfect moment. Unexpected encouragement from someone you did not expect. Opportunity surfacing just when you were about to reconsider your direction. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The miracle unfolding is restoring your confidence in God's timing. You once struggled with delays. You felt forgotten when answers did not come quickly. But now you see the wisdom in the waiting. If it had happened earlier, you would not have been ready to sustain it. Now you are ready. You have learned boundaries. You have learned discipline. You have learned to trust your discernment. These qualities are not small achievements. They are foundations for longevity. All of heaven shouting your name was a declaration that your private growth has been acknowledged publicly in the spirit. Recognition always precedes elevation. You may soon experience visible affirmation that reflects this invisible approval. But elevation also brings responsibility. You will need to guard your focus more carefully than before. As doors open, so will distractions. As your influence grows, so will opinions around you. Not every voice deserves access to your decision-making process. Be selective. Archangel Michael's presence symbolizes clarity and conflict. If confusion attempts to creep back in, pause. Seek peace before you proceed. The miracle does not require haste. It requires alignment. You may feel a strong urge to correct past mistakes or revisit unfinished business. That urge is part of closure. Handle it wisely. Do not reopen wounds that have already healed. But if reconciliation is necessary, approach it with humility and confidence. The season you are entering values maturity. Another shift you will notice is in your self-talk. The internal dialogue that once criticized you harshly is softening. You are beginning to speak to yourself with patience. That internal healing is just as powerful as any external blessing. The miracle is not only about what you receive, it is about who you become. Archangel Michael standing over your household signifies stability. If there were patterns of instability in your family line, those patterns are being broken. If there were cycles of fear, scarcity, or insecurity, they are losing power over you. You are becoming a cycle breaker. And cycle breakers often feel lonely before they feel victorious. But loneliness is temporary. The fruit of your courage will extend beyond you. In the coming days, pay attention to clarity around decisions that once felt overwhelming. You may subtly know exactly what step to take. Do not overanalyze it. Sometimes clarity arrives quietly but firmly. Trust it. You will also sense a new level of boldness rising within you. Conversations you once avoided will now feel manageable. Opportunities you once declined will now feel attainable. That boldness is not pride. It is preparation meeting timing. All of heaven shouting your name means you are no longer hidden in obscurity. You are stepping into a space where your presence carries influence. Use that influence wisely. Encourage others who are still waiting. Share wisdom without arrogance. Remain grounded even as doors open. A miracle unfolding is sustainable because it is rooted in character, not hype. And here is something important to remember. When progress becomes visible, some people may attempt to reconnect with you for the wrong reasons. Discern their intentions gently but firmly. Not every reconnection is destiny. Archangel Michael's watchful presence assures you that protection extends beyond what you see. If something is not aligned with your purpose, it will not be allowed to derail you. You are walking in favor now. Quiet favor. Steady favor. The kind that does not need constant announcement but produces undeniable results. The night that marked your release is turning into days of confirmation. What once felt impossible is beginning to look inevitable. You are not hoping anymore. You are witnessing. And the next wave of manifestation will only deepen your certainty that heaven truly moved on your behalf. Steady believer, you are entering a stretch of days that will test whether you truly believe what heaven has declared over you. Not because the miracle is in danger, but because growth requires reinforcement. When something new begins in your life, the old mindset often tries to reclaim its territory. Familiar doubts may whisper again. Old fears may attempt to rise one last time. But they no longer have authority unless you give it back to them. The release that began is not fragile. It is anchored in divine timing. Yet your agreement with it matters. You must align your thoughts with what God has already spoken. Archangel Michael did not stand in the gap for you to return to small thinking. He did not weep over your endurance for you to shrink back into insecurity. Heaven did not shout your name for you to remain hidden in hesitation. You are being invited to step fully into what was activated. You may feel moments of stretching, situations that require you to respond with courage rather than comfort, conversations that require honesty rather than avoidance, decisions that require faith rather than certainty. This is refinement, not punishment. A miracle unfolding is teaching you how to hold blessing without fear of losing it. In the past, whenever something good happened, part of you braced for disappointment. You expected the ground to shift beneath you. But this time is different. Stability is being built beneath your feet. Archangel Michael's presence symbolizes reinforcement. If unseen resistance attempts to stir confusion, it will not prevail. But you must guard your perspective. What you focus on will influence how you experience this season. Focus on progress, not imperfections. Focus on alignment, not delays. Focus on gratitude, not anxiety. There may be unexpected responsibilities added to your life soon. A project, a leadership opportunity, a role that stretches your abilities. Do not interpret these as burdens. They are evidence that you are trusted with more. Trust and growth travel together. All of heaven shouting your name was not only about celebration. It was about commissioning. You are being commissioned to operate at a higher level of integrity and influence. And influence requires discipline. You will need to protect your time more carefully. Protect your energy more intentionally. Protect your peace more fiercely. Not everyone deserves access to your growth process. If this word is strengthening you, engage with it. Like this message so it reaches someone who feels unseen. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their breakthrough is real. Declare your agreement in the comments and speak life over your next season. Subscribe and remain connected, because the unfolding revelation is not finished. What is about to be uncovered next will deepen your understanding in ways you may not expect. The coming phase requires awareness. You may notice that opportunities begin appearing in clusters. Several choices at once. Several invitations at once. This can feel overwhelming if you try to control every outcome. Instead, move with prayer and discernment. Archangel Michael's steady watch reminds you that you are not navigating this alone. If something is not aligned, it will fade naturally. If something is meant for you, it will remain steady even without force. You are no longer in a season of chasing. You are in a season of choosing. And choosing wisely will determine the sustainability of your miracle. The old version of you operated from fear of missing out. The new version operates from confidence that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. This mindset shift is powerful. You will also sense a stronger desire for solitude at times. Do not resist it. Solitude will help you process the expansion happening in your life. It will allow you to hear clearly without external noise. A miracle unfolding is not chaotic. It is intentional. Even your finances may begin to reflect this shift. Wisdom will replace impulse. Planning will replace panic. Stewardship will replace stress. Archangel Michael's weeping signaled compassion. Heaven's shouting signaled approval. Now your obedience will signal maturity. Step forward boldly when opportunity calls. Remain still when peace instructs you to wait. Speak truth when fear suggests silence. You are not fragile anymore. You are fortified. The release that began has matured into momentum. Momentum that will carry you into rooms you once only imagined. Momentum that will silence every internal critic that once doubted your readiness. The next confirmations you receive will feel almost surreal. You may pause and reflect on how different your life feels compared to months ago. And in that reflection, you will realize something powerful. The miracle was not just about changing your circumstances. It was about transforming you, and that transformation cannot be reversed. Courageous heart, you are now standing in the evidence of what was once only a whisper in prayer. The days ahead will not look like the days behind you, not because everything will suddenly be perfect, but because you are no longer the same person who once trembled under uncertainty. Something within you has solidified, a calm authority, a quiet assurance, a grounded expectation that what God begins, He completes. A miracle released over your life has moved from activation to establishment. At first, it felt like anticipation, then it felt like movement. Now it feels like structure. You are building instead of begging. You are planning instead of panicking. You are walking with intention instead of reacting to every wave. Archangel Michael's presence over your journey was never about spectacle. It was about security. Security in your calling. Security in your household. Security in your next chapter. There were seasons when you felt spiritually exposed, as if every battle hit you directly. But now there is covering. Now there is reinforcement. Now there is stability. You may notice that your conversations are different. You speak with clarity. You no longer over-explain yourself to be understood. You no longer chase validation from people who never saw your value. That shift is maturity. All of heaven shouting your name was a public acknowledgement in the spirit realm that your preparation phase is complete. You were trained through trials. You were refined through disappointment. You were strengthened through silence. Now you are being trusted with manifestation. Trust is powerful. When heaven trusts you with blessing, it means your character has caught up with your desire. You are no longer praying from desperation. You are moving from alignment. The miracle unfolding in your life is beginning to ripple outward. Others will notice the difference in you. They may not understand what changed, but they will sense it. Your calm in situations that once stressed you will stand out. Your confidence without arrogance will speak louder than words. Do not be surprised if people seek your advice more often. Do not be surprised if opportunities for leadership begin to surface naturally. You are no longer operating from survival instincts. You are operating from wisdom. Archangel Michael's weeping represented compassion for your past suffering. But now, the chapter is closing. The tears that once fell from your eyes are being replaced with steady vision. Vision for your future. Vision for your family. Vision for your purpose. You are beginning to see beyond the immediate moment. Short-term thinking is being replaced with long-term strategy. This is not accidental. It is part of the miracle. There may still be occasional waves of doubt that attempt to revisit you, but they no longer control your decisions. They pass through like temporary clouds. You have learned how to anchor yourself in truth rather than emotion. That anchoring is powerful. The miracle being released was never meant to make you complacent. It was meant to make you courageous. You are being called to act boldly where you once hesitated. If there is a project you have delayed, revisit it. If there is a conversation you have postponed, approach it with clarity. If there is a dream you buried, allow it to breathe again. This is not reckless movement. It is aligned action. All of heaven shouting your name signified recognition. Recognition always precedes responsibility. And responsibility, when embraced, produces legacy. You are not just stepping into blessing for yourself. You are establishing a foundation that will benefit others. The stability forming in your life will ripple outward to those connected to you. Archangel Michael stands as assurance that protection continues as expansion increases. The higher you rise, the more important covering becomes. and covering has already been assigned to you. You are not climbing alone. You are not building alone. You are not advancing alone. In the coming days, there will be moments when you pause and realize how different you feel. Situations that once overwhelmed you will now feel manageable. Challenges that once intimidated you will now feel like assignments. This is evidence of growth. The miracle is no longer just approaching. It is operating. You are operating differently, thinking differently, speaking differently, believing differently. And because of that internal shift, external confirmation will continue to follow. The night that marked your release was the turning point, but what you are living now is the fulfillment. Remain humble. Remain grateful. Remain discerning. Because what began as a divine announcement is now becoming a visible reality, and you are fully prepared to carry it into the next dimension of your life. Beloved of God, this is the moment where everything comes together. What began as a divine whisper has now become a living reality in your spirit. You are no longer questioning if your miracle is real. You are walking in the evidence of it. Even if every detail has not fully manifested yet, you know something irreversible has happened. The release was not emotional hype. It was heavenly authorization. When God said your miracle was being released tonight, it was not poetic language. It was a decree. And decrees from heaven do not expire. They unfold. Archangel Michael weeping for you was the sign that your suffering was seen. All of heaven shouting your name was the sign that your endurance was approved. But what you are stepping into now is the fruit of that approval. Fruit takes time to grow, but once it appears, it nourishes more than just you. You are not the same person who first heard this message. Even now, your breathing feels different. Your thoughts feel clearer. Your heart feels steadier. That is because fear has lost territory, doubt has lost volume, confidence has taken root. The battles that once defined your nights no longer control your mornings. This final stretch is about consolidation. Protect what has been built. Guard your peace intentionally. Continue choosing integrity even when shortcuts appear tempting. The miracle you received is sustainable because it was rooted in transformation, not impulse. Archangel Michael's presence over your life remains active. Protection does not end when blessing begins. In fact, as favor increases, so does divine covering. You may not see the ways you are being shielded from unseen harm, but trust that it is happening. There were attacks that never reached you. There were setbacks that were redirected. There were disappointments that were prevented. Heaven intervened more times than you know. All of heaven shouting your name also means this: your story is not small. What you overcame will become someone else's survival guide. What you endured will become someone else's encouragement. Do not hide your testimony when the time comes. Speak about the miracle openly. Give God the glory boldly. Your voice carries weight now because it carries experience. The release that began tonight will echo into your future. Decisions you make from this place of clarity will create stability for years to come. Relationships formed in this season will carry depth. Opportunities accepted in this alignment will produce longevity. You are no longer surviving. You are building. And building requires vision. Keep your eyes forward. Do not romanticize the struggle you left behind. Do not revisit mindsets that once limited you. Gratitude for the lesson is healthy. Returning to the limitation is not. Archangel Michael's tears were the closing of one chapter. Heaven's shout was the opening of another. Now your obedience writes the pages that follow. You may still face challenges, but they will not carry the same power. because now you understand something deeply. God did not bring you this far to abandon you. He did not release a miracle only to withdraw it. He did not announce your name only to forget it. The atmosphere has changed permanently. You are aligned. You are covered. You are equipped. And the peace settling over you right now is confirmation that this message was not random. It was timed. Before you step fully into what is next, respond with faith. Type "I walk in my miracle" in the comments if this word has confirmed what your spirit already knew. Blessing code 9090 is now activated over your future and your household. As this message closes, understand that this is more than a video. This is a movement of light. When you sow through Super Thanks, join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a platform. You are advancing a harvest. God says, as you release your seed, I release my increase over your house. I feel called to fuel this river so it can reach souls who are still crying in silence. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning in dark places. Do not hesitate when heaven prompts you to act. As you give, may doors swing open and favor multiply over every area of your life. Step into this prophetic obedience now and be a carrier of the fire. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the life you prayed for.